Hiya. So, okay, welcome back to Camp Canine and more to do with potatoes because I went down to the farm shop and I bought loads of potatoes, so I am planting them up. So I've done one way of planting them, which is in these sacks here, and this is my preferred way of planting, but I've ended up with with quite a few potatoes left over to plant, so I'm looking at where I might be able to plant them elsewhere in the garden. So come with me. So last year, along this fence here, I had straw bales all the way along here, and I was planting on top of or inside the straw bales. My planting inside the straw bales didn't quite work out properly because I hadn't let them start to rot long enough. But planting on top of them wasn't a problem at all. I then collapsed them out to cover the ground over the winter and to rot away. So I've just dug up to see how rotten they've got, and I've got myself a nice trench here now where underneath is pretty good ground. So what I'm going to do is I've dug myself a trench. I'm going to plant my remaining potato seeded potatoes in there and along here, and then I'm going to run a layer of compost over the top of them, fresh compost to give them a bit more nutrients, and then I will cover them up a little bit with the straw, and I can keep them piling the straw on top of them as they grow larger and larger, and that will make use of this straw that has collapsed down and been mulching this area over the winter, and it will open up the ground around it for the other things that I want to plant. So here we go. So I've laid out my potatoes, probably a few too many in there, little closer than you would probably normally plant them. I don't know how well they're going to do in here, and these are potatoes that I bought that were discounted down by like 50% because they were well and truly sprouted past what they would expect to sell them at. So I don't know whether it's going to be successful or not. So the fact that I've planted a few more, I'm not too worried about. It's either going to go absolutely crazy, and then I can just weed out the ones that I don't want if it's too close, or they will give me a good crop. So now I'm going to cover them up with some compost to give them some nutrients. Okay, so now I have a lovely row of potatoes that are covered in a little bit of soil. I haven't had to dig too deep. In fact, I haven't really. I've just lifted the straw off of the ground that it's been lying on all winter to reveal some lovely earth beneath it. So I've just made space, laid down the potatoes, then covered the potatoes with some earth. The only bit of management I've got to do from now on is make sure that the dogs don't get to them and don't dig them up. As soon as they start to grow, I will then start to cover them with a bit of this straw, as I said before, and once that starts happening, the dogs won't pay any attention to it, but whilst it's fresh soil, they do love a bit of fresh soil to dig in, so I'm going to have to start watching this spot quite keenly, I think. So there you go. First time attempting this, have no idea how well it will work, but that's the fun with gardening. You just try something. The fundamentals are there. You've planted a seed into some earth, you water it, which I've got to do now before I forget, and then the sun and the water takes care of the rest. Nature wants to grow. So let's hope it will grow me some nice good potatoes here. And we'll catch up a bit later in the year and see how they've done.